Greetings, everyone. Hey, we're live, you guys. Knock it off. Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Self-Publishing Insiders. I'm Jim Azevedo, and today I'm happy because I've got two of my friends and colleagues joining me today. I've got Lexi Green. Hey, Lexi.
Hi. Hi.
Hi. And we've got Mark Leslie the Fave.
How's it going? I'm not done dancing to the music, the lovely music we had.
Mark, I
Mark's
told you
always dancing to
backstage
the
that you
music
can
in his
dance through the
heart.
whole episode. Go for it. You know.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We're gonna change that. We're gonna change these from Self-Publishing Insiders to Dancing with DDD in subsequent weeks. Welcome, everybody. Enough with the silliness. This is a serious conversation. We're here to talk about DDD's tools and services, and all of you watching out there in Cyberland, please feel free to ask us any questions that you might have about any of our publishing, our distribution tools, our promotion tools, as we're going through this episode. And we will try earnestly to get to every single one of those comments and questions. We like these episodes. They're a lot of fun, and we love the engagement. So for our viewers out there who are joining us again, thanks you guys for tuning in and week out. And if you're new to Self-Publishing Insiders, welcome. We are so happy that you are here. You guys, I thought I would kick this conversation off with a quick comment from one of our viewers out there, from William. William says, "This is the year I dust off my DDD account and publish." Perfect. You've come to the right place. I thought we would sort of like organize this conversation into 4 parts. Sorry, Lexi, into 4 parts. We'll cover publishing tools, or distribution tools, some of the management tools we have out there, and then some of the promotion tools that we've got as well. So let's kind of kick it off with just basic publishing tools. And I thought I'd back up a little bit.
We have publishing tools?
We do.
Oh my God.
And I thought I'd back up a little bit in the history, Mark and Lexi, because you guys know that I came from Smashwords. And when Smashwords first got its start back in 2008, we had this large publishing formatting guide, a Smashwords style guide, which was really helpful if you were working with Microsoft Word, because at that time you had to follow the guide step by step by step by step in order to publish an ebook. And while it was helpful, it really taught you how to wrestle with Microsoft Word, but that's no longer the case when it comes to
taught you how to hold a phone book too when you had to read that manual, right?
Well, it's
no comment.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Like, was it ever? I'm not sure if it was an official term, but the name for like the Smashwords processor for when you upload your book, that was the meat grinder, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like
that was the conversion tool.
Yeah,
that was the official name of the conversion tool. Yeah, and like obviously, it had its place, and I understand some people even like have a familiarity with like the minutia of like going in and trying to like format everything to the T. But at Draft2Digital, we've decided to go a different route, and we really went for the kind of user-friendly optimization in terms of like, okay, you take your Word document, you put it in the way that most people would think to just frame the formatting of their Word document, and our system, designed by people so much smarter than me, will take that and we'll turn it into a functional EPUB with nice, clean formatting.
So, but so if any author is out there and they're new and they're working on their manuscript, Lexi, do they have to, like, how does the system know that, okay, this is chapter 1 and this is chapter 2? What kind of fanciness, if any, do the authors have to do to ensure that the conversion tool gets their book looking like a book?
Well, that's the thing. It's such a minimal fanciness. Like, as most authors, I think, would know, in Microsoft Word, you have an option for like styles, and some of those styles are headings. And if you're using headings, our system will look for those headings, and it will turn those into your chapter titles. It will build a table of contents around that. It will structure your book around those key points. And if you're using different headings, because our system converts to a like kind of one-tier table of contents, you even have options when you upload the book to tell the system, hey, you're looking for H1 and H2 headings, like 2 different styles of headings. Those should both be recognized. Our system goes in, recognizes that, does all the sorting out work for you, plops out, almost said a word that shouldn't be on the podcast, plops out a functional ebook with a functional table of contents.
And the one thing I do like about it as well, if I can add, is we have a pretty sophisticated program, but again, it's just a dumb computer at the end of the day. So it interprets those breakdowns if you've used headings or whatever, and it does its best. But there's a really cool button not a lot of authors see that says, "Help, these aren't my chapters." Shows you the preview of the chapters, and you can click on it, and then you can see the option of, oh, is the text slightly larger or bolded? Is that so those kinds of interpretations, you can say, no, interpret it this way, not that way. And I've used that several times as an author, and I love that extra option. So I don't have to go all the way back to the Word document every time. I can just go right in that dialog box. There's a pop-up. I can see the preview and go, yeah, those are my chapters, and then select it. So it's not just a computer that makes an assumption. It asks you more questions. I love that. I love that our designers built that in to the tool.
Yeah, and it's also worth noting it's not just headings, although we also have like a ton of really nifty little default heading styles that our wonderful graphic designer came up with to like really pretty up your chapter titles. But we also have things like scene breaks. Like if you're putting 2 to 3 line breaks or like 2 to 3 returns in between 2 paragraphs, our system looks at that and goes, oh, you want a scene break here, a thing that's really common in books. And instead of you having to like do a bunch of extra formatting for that, it will detect that. It will put a nice little scene break graphic in. It's really designed to kind of zhuzh up your document. And I think that's really nice. I think it's also nifty that we have so many automated front and end matter tools that are going to like take your Word document. A lot of people will ask us like, well, do I have to like put in a copyright page in there? Do I have to put in my about the author page in there? It's like you can just put in the manuscript of your book, and then you have tools in step 2 of the upload process that would you like to add a copyright page? We can do that for you. Would like to add a dedication page? You can set that up right in the browser. Would you like to set up an about the author page? Not only can you do that, once you do it, you can use that same about the author page in your future books. So it's something that you can keep bringing back up. You can make multiple profiles. It's a lot of tools to make it so that you can focus on writing, and then once you get to the website, that'll kind of lead you through a lot of the stuff that you might not have been as ready to do with your formatting.
That's a great point. It's a huge time saver. Now, Lexi and Mark, when you guys are talking about header 1 and header 2 and how the system recognizes that, let's say that I'm working in Microsoft Word, but I'm not familiar with those tools in Microsoft Word. Can I upload my Microsoft manuscript without header 1 and header 2? Can I just have like chapter 1 and chapter 2, and will the system recognize that?
So it will. We recommend using the headers just because it is the most easily detectable thing. If you are formatting your chapter titles in a way that is specific to them, like if you're centering them, if you're centering and bolding them, you do have the options in Draft2Digital to say that your detection should be looking for bolded, centered text when it's looking for chapters. That said, I really do recommend just using the heading function, just because it is the most foolproof. You never know when you might have like forgotten what you were doing in the middle of your book and just decided to throw something in the center for flair, and suddenly that's a chapter title. But if you ever realize that your chapter titles aren't exactly where you wanted them to be, that's what our support team is here for. They're very skilled in going in. Most of them have been doing this for long enough that if you even mention what your problem is and give them a basic description, they will probably be able to guess right away, oh, this is probably what happened. Here's probably the best way to circumvent that and make this easier for you. So,
okay. Now, you mentioned foolproof. I just want to make sure that the authors know that once you publish your book, once you upload your manuscript and you start going through the process, it's not going to automatically publish and get distributed out there. You're going to have the opportunity to preview that ebook to ensure that every single page, you can flip through those pages digitally to ensure that every page is formatted exactly as they would expect. Right.
Yeah, and not only that, you don't have to like. There are people who use Draft2Digital's formatting tools that don't ever end up publishing with Draft2Digital because we make it. Part of the service we want to offer is obviously we want to distribute your books, we want to manage your books, but we also want to give authors tools to succeed. And sometimes if they're going to go other places, we still want them to have a formatting tool that will serve them well. So when you go through the steps of creating your ebook, the first step is setting up, it's uploading your manuscript, setting up your metadata, your description, your release date, things like that. Step 2 is about formatting your like front and end matter, and then step 3 is that step where you get to preview the file. You can download the EPUB, you can download the PDF, you can really check those things over. You don't have to. You're on no time crunch. If you never hit publish, you can still go back in, make those changes. If you do hit publish on your ebook, you can still go back in later and make changes. So we try and make it as easy as possible to use our tools to make sure that your book is exactly what you want it to be.
Cool. All right. So we're talking that was mostly, excuse me, the mouth is not working yet this morning. That was mostly covering ebooks. But what about print on demand, print books? Valerie asked a great question. Can I print books with Draft2Digital? Who wants to tackle that one?
Certainly can. I'll let Mark take it. I've been talking too much already.
So we have, in the same way that we've built the tools where you can upload a Word document and use our templates, etc., for an ebook, you can do the same thing with print. We have partnered with a distributor that gets your books into Ingram's system, which is the world's largest English language wholesaler of print books in the world. It's through Print on Demand. And that's for distribution. But we've also built some other tools on top of the formatting. Now, if you have a print-ready file, print-ready cover, print-ready whatever, you can use that. Or, again, if you just have a manuscript, like Lexi said, load your manuscript, pick from the templates. We'll help you add help you add the about the author, dedication, copyright page, any of those things if you haven't added them. You can preview it. And then the other benefit, and this is what I love about Draft2Digital print, is right now it's only black and white interior trade paperbacks, and we've narrowed it down to about the most common 6 or 7 or 8 most common trim sizes, like 6x9, 5.5 by 8.5, etc. Those are the most common in the book industry, and then we did that because we didn't want to overwhelm you with the choice of all the possible options. But also, if you did not have a print-ready cover file, we have a tool that is, I think we're the only place that offers this kind of tool. We'll do the full cover wrap for you for free. What we do is we take your front cover that you've loaded. Let's say you hired a cover designer and they only designed the front cover for you for your ebook. We can take that cover and we will do a wrap that will be machine perfect, allow you to edit the text on the spine. If you wanted to load, we'll add a barcode for you as well, because we do provide free ISBNs, or you can provide your own. And we also, you can put an author photo and you can adjust the text on the back of it so that you can have a machine perfect cover ready to go. And I love how that saves authors not just time and hassle, but it can save them money too, especially because it can be expensive, paying for an editor and a cover designer and all that stuff.
Yeah, and I like how we say that it's automated, but it's not automated to the point where you don't have any control over, what you want that back cover or your spine to look like. You can still mess with those margins and even the content.
Upload an author photo, change it if you want. All of those options are still there. And it's funny, when we first launched it, it was automated. And then we built in tools to say, well, I don't like this font, or I want to change the size and I want to move the text or whatever, right? So I love how much we've invested in that. And then I think there was another question about print. Somebody had asked, and I know Alyssa has answered in the comments, but it was
about print changes.
Yeah, well, there was that one from hardcovers. I am aware that I think the next priority on the development team's list, because of the templates, is probably going to be large print. Will become first, only because accessibility is an important issue, right? Like making those books more accessible. And then I believe hardcover will probably come next. The challenge with children's books is right now we're only doing black and white interior. Doing children's books would require color interior, which I imagine could be somewhere down the pipe. But what I recommend, Katrina, email our support team and say, I really would love to do this, because we prioritize the work we do, because we can't do it all at once. We prioritize it based on the needs of what people are saying they want the most.
Yeah, and it's worth remembering that part of the reason that that children's books and color printing aren't available yet is honestly just the cost of it right now. It is a tough sell, but once again, we're still looking through the options. Large print, hardcovers, those are things that are definitely in the pipeline right now. We're looking into the idea of color printing in the future, but it is something that we only want to do if we think that it is right for the authors. I think we also had comments about the ability to change your manuscript in print. And I think Lissa gave an answer here, which was, for ebook, you can always make changes even after you publish. Like, you can go back in if you realize you need to fix something. For print, just because there is a cost to, like changing over the files, getting rid of things that have already been pre-printed, we can't change that as frequently. But as a Draft2Digital author, you do get a change token once every 90 days. So after you publish, say 90 days later, you realize, I would like to fix some typos. I would like to maybe even like add like a dedication into my book. You can go into Draft2Digital, you can upload the new manuscript, and you can submit a change token. You can use your change token to submit those changes, rather. This only applies to changes that are on the cover and the manuscript. You can still go in and change like the description of your book, like the metadata of your book at any time. That stuff doesn't require any change. And if you do want to make a change and you don't have a change token yet, you can also purchase them. I don't remember off the top of my head what the current going rate for a change token is. I think it's $25.
That's basically what we are charged for those tokens that we purchase on your behalf. We just can't afford to buy 1,000 tokens for one author who wants to make 1,000 changes in 24 hours.
Yeah, believe me. Yeah, and we would if we could, but
yeah.
All right.
Let's see. I want to bring up this quick question here. From Kanashi Ukami, a question: is there any guide that you guys can recommend, or maybe tool to figuring page margins for self-formatted interiors, or is using what KDP or other printers recommend sort of quote unquote good enough for use with D2D?
The second is true. Yeah, I mean, if this is something that you've been able to load to KDP Print, if it's something you've been able to load to Ingram Spark, chances are it's going to be something that you can load to our platform, because they all use relatively the same kinds of printing techniques.
Okay.
But I would say, if you're curious about what the margin should be, I mean, our templates do that for you automatically based on industry standards. Or pick up a book and measure the margins. I mean, when I designed my very first book, 20 years ago, trying to figure out how to do my own print book back in the old day when I had to walk to school in 10 feet of snow and bare feet. But back in those days, I just took a bunch of books off bookstore shelves and I measured the margins to make sure I had the right one.
Yeah, why not?
We call that analog authorship.
Right. Okay, we talked a little bit about ebooks. We talked a little bit about print-on-demand files. What about audiobooks and digital narration? Does Draft2Digital do anything with digital narration?
Sort of. We currently so Apple offers a service right now which allows for digital narration that they can build from like the Word documents that authors provide for certain genres, and that can then be used and uploaded and sold on Apple Books. And they have partnered with us so that we can give our authors an outlet to take the books that they have in Draft2Digital, if they so choose. This is, once again, obviously all of our services are very opt-in, but like if they choose that they want to get involved with Apple Audio, they can use the manuscripts that they upload to us to get to that. And I think Mark might have more information on that, but that's the general gist of how we work with Apple Books on their narration projects.
That's it in a nutshell. We don't do the distribution ourselves. We partner with people who do a good job.
Okay. Did
We're
you?
here to
Did you?
connect
I'm sorry.
authors to other
I was looking at.
things.
I was looking at some of the comments. Did you cover some of the genres that that Apple's digital narration covers? Because it's not everything just yet, right? Because the technology
No,
is so
yeah.
new.
I don't know them off the top of my head. I'm sure we started with romance, right? Because
It
like
started with the single best-selling genre of all time ever.
of all time forever, yes.
Yeah, we started with romance and thrillers, and then we started to expand into the other genres.
Yeah.
But you can always just email support, and we'll let you know. If it is available to you when you log into your dashboard, you'll see it as an option. When you click on audio, if it's available for your genres, you see it. And if you don't, email our support team and request it, because then we can work with our partner on that.
All right. Yeah.
Okay. Great. So I'm looking at I'm cheating by looking at my notes on my phone over here. So we covered publishing for ebooks, print on demand, a little bit of digital narration that we've touched upon. How about we shift and talk about distribution, which is kind of the bread and butter of Draft2Digital. It's what I think is our biggest value add to authors out there, because we help authors save
maybe the only way we make money
when it comes to distributing.
Yeah, also that,
Maybe it is.
Well, I mean, because like as an author, you don't want to like the notion of going to every services like website or every services product and having to manually upload your book at every single one and set up your metadata at every single store. And then some of those stores don't even really have a direct digital distribution option. Like you have to be going through somewhere else to get to them. So like there's just so many steps that it can take to try and get to all these places individually as an indie author. And that's where Draft2Digital comes in. We can handle your distribution. We can take the metadata that you gave us. We can take the manuscript and the cover that you gave us. We set up these book projects across all the vendors that we distribute to that you want your book available at. And then at any point, you can take those books down from those particular partners. You can change what the cost is at most of them. I think Hoopla is the only one where you're kind of locked in terms of the pricing you choose. So yeah, it's an easy way to kind of one-stop shop manage your publishing, your distribution, and your book management. And we have, I see right here, we have 3 options in our little list that you thankfully prepared, because some of us didn't come here as prepared. But we have typically 3 different kinds of distribution when it comes to, at least when it comes to ebooks. And that's your retail.
Alexi, I just want to, let me interrupt you there just for 1 sec. I'm sorry. I just want to make
sure
you're good.
I need you to stop me sometimes.
No, you're fine. I just want to make sure that people understand like where in the publishing process they get to select which retailers and library platforms and subscription services they can get to. Because I don't want anybody feeling that, hey, the Draft2Digital is going to decide where we're going to distribute your books. No, that's up to you, the author. Yeah. So can you talk about that?
You only decide where you want your book to go when you're ready to publish. And there's no like, once you get to the page, it doesn't like force you to make that decision at gunpoint. So like once you go through, you've uploaded your manuscript, you've uploaded your cover, you've set up your metadata, you've gone through that preview process we mentioned, your book looks good to you, you think that it's ready to show to people. You check a little box that says, I think I am ready for distribution. I'm ready to move forward with this project. And it will take you to the final step of our publishing process, which is a nice checklist of all the places that you can go. Oh, look at that. You had it all geared up for me. So it will show you all of the places where you can distribute to. You can check off the ones you want to go to. You can leave off the ones you don't want your ebook available at. So once you do that, you set them up. It will even tell you what, based on the price you set on that same step, what royalties you would be getting from each place. In terms of digital stores, those are our retail partners. They're what you think of when you think of a digital like bookstore. So your Kindle, your Amazon, your Apple Books, your Kobo, your Nook, Barnes and Noble, and then a lot of other places. Oh, and obviously Smashwords, the one that is also us. So yeah, those are the places where a person will go. They will buy a copy of your book, and they own that copy of your book, and you get royalties based on that purchase. Now, subscription services are a little different. Those are kind of like if you've been in KU, you know kind of the way a subscription service works. and readers provide a monthly subscription fee, and then they can read books that are on that platform, and the authors get their royalty in the form of a portion of those fees, a portion of those membership fees. And then libraries, we all know libraries. Draft2Digital loves libraries. So library services sell books to libraries. So whether it's a service that lets a library buy a single copy of your digital book to then loan out, or whether they pay a little bit to rent your book as a one-time rental. This is just a way for libraries to decide that they want to have your books available to their readers. And these are the services that connect them to your book.
Great. Thank you for that, Lexi. Did you want to add something to that, Mark?
No, I think I love the fact that authors have choice as to where they want to distribute to as well. And that's why we showed you a whole bunch of different platforms on the screen at the beginning of Lexi explaining that.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so let's shift gears. We've talked about publishing a bit. We've talked about some of our distribution tools, the main distribution tools. Let's shift gears and talk about promotion tools, if you guys are cool with that. And for our segue, I would like to thank Mark Landon Jarvis here. Thanks for this question, Mark. He's asking, can you review the marketing
I love
assistance
Mark who have
DVD?
3 names. They're my favorite people, by the way. He has 3 Mark and 3 names. We're like brothers. So, sorry.
All right, simmer down, Tiger. So Mark's asking, can you review the marketing assistance DVD provides? I get emails about special opportunities via Smashwords and Apple, etc. But you have someone on staff who could help more, right?
Did we pay him to ask that question in that way? That is the most perfectly teed up question for Mark I've ever heard. From a Mark to a Mark.
Yeah, you know what? And it's obvious that Mark and I know each other because we're named Mark and we have 3 names. So
you show up.
We do
have
all
Marks
Megan Spann is our full-time authors promotion coordinator. Megan and I have been working this morning on an Overdrive promo that we're working on for some of our authors, and we just got something from Hoopla, and I'm so excited about that. And we're working on stuff with Kobo, and we're working on stuff with Apple and Barnes & Noble all the time. But Mark, so the best way to get access to the link, unless one of you guys can drop this in a banner somewhere really fast, is email.
Yep, I got it.
Oh, you got it? So, and it'll pop up on the screen, and you fill out a form. And there's 2 things. When you go to this URL, you d2d.tips/d2d promo form, and when you're logged in on the same browser as your account, there's 2 options. You can say, hey, I'm going to tell you about something. I'm going to tell you about my books. This is what I publish. This is who I use you for, because you might be going direct to Amazon and Kobo, for example, and you may be using us for Barnes & Noble and Apple and Overdrive and stuff like that. And then the genres you're in. And based on what you tell us, when we're looking at promos for those genres, we'll send you an invite that says, hey, Mark, you've got books in this genre for Apple, and Apple's looking for books like this. Would you like to submit something? Mm-hmm. The other option for the form is telling us something cool that's going on. Oh, I have a BookBub promo coming up. Oh, I just had this really cool, I just won this award for this book. And what Megan does as well, in addition to the reports that she sends off to our partners saying, hey, here's some pre-orders you should look at that are doing really well, and here are our bestsellers, which is one of the things I manage to look at, trying to spotlight different indie authors, is spotlighting books that are going to be coming soon that are hot, spotlighting cool things that we think we should know. Is like, hey, Apple, hey, Kobo, hey, Barnes & Noble, did you guys know that this book just won a literary award in its state or province or country, or it's going to be part of a BookBub promo, so you should spotlight it. So lots of promotion opportunities, and we do have a full-time dedicated person. And Megan's goal, what I really love, many of the things I love about Megan, is Megan's goal is really wanting to help authors who haven't yet had huge success by finding these diamonds in the rough, by looking at something and going, oh, this is a great book. We need to show it to more people so more people can buy it. Because, again, we only make money when you sell books. And we want to help you sell more books.
And to Megan's credit, one thing that blows me away is she says, in the part of the promo form, when it says, tell us more, she suggests, going hard on the details, like don't hold back with information, because the more details, the more information that Megan has, the better. And with that suggestion, I just want to bring up this quick comment here from Brenda. And Brenda, thanks for this comment. Brenda says, I get offers often, and they are usually the same book. They think I only have one book. So I don't know if you're talking about retailers or our promotions team here, but this is the reason I brought up this comment is because please, you can use the promo form as often as you like. So go in there and tell us what else you've got. Like if you've got, you know, a series or books that may be award-winning books, you know, if you're averaging 4.5 and 5-star reviews, those are the types of details that Megan and Mark want to see and want to know about, so that when we're talking to the merchandising managers at the library services or at the retailers, we can help kind of lift you up a little bit and get some more visibility for you and your books.
Yeah,
and help us sell your book.
And that may be, I know, Brenda, I know some of the retailers have tunnel vision. And if you've had a successful book once, they just want to keep showing the same book. We try really, really hard to try and show your other books. Like, oh, did you know Brenda has these other books that are awesome that you should check out? So that does happen in the book industry, in traditional publishing. That's where a lot of the folks come from. But another project Megan and I are working on, I'm so excited about it, is I get to go to the American Library Association conference in the summer.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be there representing independent authors. And Megan and I are putting together, we did this with Overdrive a few summers ago, and it was hugely successful, a catalog of spotlighting different indie authors that we think the librarians should pay attention to. And this is no matter which library platform you're distributing to through us. So it could be Overdrive, it could be Hoopla, it could be Biblioteca, it could be Odello. It's probably not going to be BorrowBox because that's more in the UK and Ireland and New Zealand and Australia. So the American Library Association members aren't going to be able to buy it. But looking at Palace Marketplace, so any of the places that your library books are available. And the reason we want to do this is we want to do what we can to demonstrate to librarians that indie authors are writing some truly spectacular books, and they're very, very worthy of your attention. And they're also usually priced at a price that libraries can afford to buy more of than they can of a book from a major publisher. So that's something we're pretty pumped about.
Excellent. That's a great answer. What other promotions tools should we talk about? Can we talk about the Smashword store a little bit?
I was about to bring that up, and especially with because we've highlighted Megan. It's because Megan's amazing and deserves to be highlighted so more all the time, honestly. But one thing that I like that she has really taken priority on is because we have the Smashword store, and it's because it's our own retail platform where we have a lot more control. It gives us the chance to do a lot more promotions here and there that just give us a chance to highlight books. Like in just the last month, like I think we had a romance, we had a kind of a romance shelf around Valentine's Day where we got to promote some of our authors' romance offerings. We had a shelf because it was Black History Month, so we got to really showcase some Black voices and Black authors. So we just get the chance to promote authors whenever we see fit and in whatever ways we think our readers might be interested in. And that's not even talking about sales of Smashwords, which we currently have the Read an Ebook sale, Read an Ebook week sale going on right now, which is one of our biggest weeks of sales for the year ever. It's just a chance to give authors the ability to discount their books at Smashwords and just Smashwords. These discounts don't have to apply to your other platforms, so like you can make it special, and you also don't have to tinker with prices at other places. And people know that these sales happen every year. They're kind of a staple at Smashwords. So I know that every time we do one of these sales, I see passive sales come in for books that I'm authored on that I without any real promotion, just like people are finding it. And then when you do promote, people find those books even more. It's a great opportunity that authors should be taking advantage of because of, once again, we just have so much control over Smashwords, and it is the place where you're going to get the most bang for your buck. You're going to get the most royalties for every sale. So you should be focusing on Smashwords a lot more than you are.
And you can also the DIY your own coupons at any time. So you can give them to the people on your newsletter, those special people who get that discount no one else can get, or you can make them public as well. So it's a really cool way to leverage the tool.
Yeah, the coupon
So with
manager
Coupon
tool is
Manager,
so helpful.
yeah, and with Coupon Manager, you can put your books on sale just at the Smashword store using Coupon Manager. But we have another tool if you wanted to put your books on sale at Smashwords and beyond Smashwords, right? And that's called our promo. I always screw the name of this up. Promo price scheduling tool.
Yeah, price scheduling. So I've got an active price promo. I have to look at the wall here, but I'm running a promo with Written Word Media on March 11th, 12th, and 13th for one of my titles, and it's dropping from $4.99 regular U.S. price down to 99 cents for a week. And so I've booked it with the good folks at Bargain Booksy and some of their newsletters. I'm sending it out in my author newsletter. But what's happening is I went into Draft2Digital weeks ago, and I set up, okay, on this date, change the price to 99 cents Canada, US, euros, et cetera, et cetera. And then at the end of this period, change it back to the regular price. So I can set it up in advance and not worry about it. Now, the downside is, the plus side is I can do that at Draft2Digital. I can do it at some of the other platforms like Google and Kobo. With Amazon, I have to go in my calendar and, that night before the promo starts, I have to go and manually change it because Amazon does not give me those tools for price scheduling when you're publishing wide, which is really frustrating. So Draft2Digital it takes a heck of a lot of worry off my plate. So if the promo is starting on Sunday, I can set it months in advance and I'm happy. With Amazon, I have to go in Saturday night and go, okay, now I got to change the price. Oh, and I got to remember to change it back. So that price scheduling tool is a really, really great. Again, it's a value add to save you time and stress.
Yep.
Quick comment here from
I'm glad you
Alyssa.
highlighted that one. Yeah.
Yeah. I saw you smiling when the comment came up, Lexi. So I was like, oh yeah, we have to hit this one. So just a PSA from Alyssa, our own Alyssa, who says, don't schedule a promo price during a Smashwords sale if you have put books into the Smashwords sale. So if you're an existing Draft2Digital author who has already put books into the Smashwords sale, schedule your promo pricing outside of that. Because what happens, if I get this, tell me if I get this right, you guys, what happens is you might kind of double the discount of your Smashwords book. Is that correct?
100%. So for example, if I put in 75% off and my book is $4.99, this exact example, that will give me a really great $1.32 or $1.24, whatever that would sell for, whatever the 75% off is. If I drop it to 99 cents, 75%, you can't have a price between 0 and 99 cents. So anything that's below 99 cents is going to default to 0. And so that is what happens. And so sometimes authors have made the mistake where they put it in a promo, it's going to be 50% off or 75% off. But if they also reduce the price to something that will give them below 99 cents, their book ends up being given away for free. And that happened to one of our employees once who didn't even understand what he was doing. You remember he was all upset about it. I'm like, dude, didn't you read the fine print? So, but anyway,
we're not blowing up anyone's spot here.
But I do it because I know that with my book, it's a first in series. So if people end up getting it for free on the Smashwords store, then they'll probably buy books 2 and 3 and 4 on the Smashwords store too. So I'll win in the end.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did we pay this man?
Mark Mark says, long shot, does DDD help with email newsletter list building? So I can help with this one because a lot of our authors don't know this. With a Smashwords pre-sale, not a pre-order, with a Smashwords pre-sale, we give the option at checkout for a reader to sign up for your email newsletter list. And as the author and publisher, you have the option to provide instant discount incentives at checkout. So you can say something like, hey, if you sign up for my email newsletter list, if you provide me, the author, with your email, you can have this book for 50% off or 75% off or free if you'll join my email newsletter list. So that's with the Smashwords pre-sale. With the Smashwords pre-sale, what's really cool about them is that unlike a pre-order, when an author puts down, when a reader puts down their credit card and then has to wait until that book is released to the general public, with a pre-sale, they can purchase that book ahead of its general release date, but download it today and begin enjoying it immediately. So I hope that answers your question, Mark.
Yeah. With an exclamation point.
Let's see here. Gosh, we're getting through a lot of this. I'm happy. We got about 5 minutes left. Okay, we talked through some promotions. Thanks, Mark. That just makes me feel all warm and fuzzy. Oh, I know. Let's hit some management tools. We haven't talked about management tools that can help our authors and publishers save like gobs of time, like with payment splitting and account sharing. Yeah,
I'm glad that we didn't skim over this, because these are tools I get really excited about. Payment splitting. So, sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, actually, so payment splitting is a tool we brought in because authors love to work with each other. They love to work with other creatives, and sometimes you want to be able to just easily split royalties in a way where you both get paid out. You don't have to worry about one person getting paid, one person having to then reimburse, and then taxes are a mess. So we instead created a program that lets you input paid collaborators when you set up an ebook, or set up. I think we even have that available for print books. So when you set up a paid collaborator, someone else with a Draft2Digital account, you can set how much they're going to get as a percentage of each royalty made on sales of that book. You can have multiple paid collaborators, and then that way when royalties come in, when they start to get divvied up, we handle that part for you. It takes a lot of that work out of what you need to do. And I know, Mark, you've used the payment splitting options, correct?
Yeah, I've got probably a dozen or more books, co-authored books, where it's like a 50-50 split, or in my universe that I'm writing. Now, this isn't with our universes, which is another tool, but this is in a series I'm writing where I'm 60%, 40%. But I even have an anthology I did in print and in ebook from Draft2Digital, and I have 16 contributors in this anthology. And so you can divide it up to as many as 99 contributors, where I get 1%, and everyone else gets 1%. But you can set different. So, for example, I have big name authors who may want to get a little bit of a higher percent than an author like me, who nobody knows. And so that's the kind of stuff that works. And what I loved about this is I used it for both print and for ebook, and I can set different percentages for either or, which is absolutely fantastic. The authors get paid directly. They can also see the sales on their own sales dashboard. They can go in and see the sales from collaborations as well. And better yet, because I'm Canadian, is as the publisher of this anthology, where the authors are getting paid directly every month by Draft2Digital, Draft2Digital at the end of the tax year will send a tax form to each person they paid where they've had sales in the US. And so I don't have to worry about the tax form. All my authors get their tax form directly from Draft2Digital. It is a lifesaver for a really small independent operation like my own.
Yeah, and it's worth noting it doesn't just have to. Oh, yeah, go for it.
Oh, sorry. Just logistically, during the publishing process, at what point, Mark, before you publish, do you reach out to your collaborators and say, hey, this is what I've assigned for the difference?
Yeah, so I do that outside of the system. The great question, Jim, is we don't give you contracts or anything like that. We assume you have existing deals that you've signed with people, like, and I do recommend, even if you're friends, just to have a simple one-page contract that says, it should, for example, Joanna Penn and I have co-authored some books and said, so if I die, this is what Joe is to do, right? With my rights or anything like that. Same thing if she dies, this is what I'm to do. And so you set that up in advance, and then in the setup of the book, when you're first setting the book and setting up the metadata, around the time where you add authors, you say, do you have paid collaborators? And that's where Lexi had mentioned there's a pop-up. There's a nice pop-up, and I can just put the person's Draft2Digital email address in. And then what happens is they'll get a notification that says, hey, Mark Lefebvre has invited you to be part of this collaboration. Do you accept? And if they missed it because it went into their spam folder, I can resend it, or I can copy the link and just message it to them directly.
I need more documents with my friends that include phrases like, in the case of my death. It sounds very fun and mysterious.
I just want to add real quick that this...
I wanted to quickly add, and I know we're wrapping up, and it's just the three of us. I feel like we can go a couple minutes over maybe, but it's not. This isn't just a tool for co-authors. Like Mark said, if a small publisher can use this tool to divvy up royalties, so they are publishing through like the publisher's Draft2Digital account, and then the authors can have their own accounts to get paid in. You can also do it if you have an illustrator that you work with. Whoever you feel like you need to be splitting these royalties with, that's your job. We just make the tools for it. Do we want to maybe hit account sharing before we end the episode? Because I do think that's another tool that I would love.
Yeah.
To. Cool.
Thanks for bringing that up.
All right. So yes. So the last tool I think we'll bring up is account sharing. This allows an author, if you go into the account section of your Draft2Digital account, you have the ability to give another D2D user like access into your account that you can kind of tailor what they're able to do. But this is mostly a case of if you have an assistant or someone who helps you upload your books. Like this is a tool for them to be able to get access without having to log into your account, without violating kind of the security of your account. They can go in, they can upload books, they can edit your books, they can handle things on the account side. I believe they can also check in with your reports and get those numbers if you give them that access. So it's just a great tool for if you're collaborating with other people. Draft2Digital is here to give you tools to make that easier for yourself. Obviously, they have to approve that access, like that. You can't just give it to like I can't just send. I can't just put like Kevin J. Anderson as my editor and just he's forced to do it. But yeah, if you're collaborating with someone, you have the tools to do it with us.
Very cool. Yeah, I want to just bring up one last comment here. Whoop, wrong one. Sorry. But thank you for that comment.
Nice.
Yeah, I do wish we had more time. You're so right.
Me too. JPT asks, will this be rebroadcast with captions? So when this broadcast is over, it goes back into YouTube and people can watch it. The live, or not, it's not live stream, the recorded stream. And I believe it does have captions that are put on. And we're also
YouTube does that
playing around with. It should,
I believe it automates captions.
But we're also playing around with video editors as well, so we can create shorts that are captioned as well, because we're trying across the company to become more accessible across the board with everything that we do. So I just want you to know, Jay, that we see you, we hear you, and we're working on making things more accessible. So thank you so much for your comment.
Yeah, great question.
Yeah, if you want to be seeing those shorts, you should be following us on YouTube. So if you haven't hit that
on
follow
the socials,
button yet, subscribe button. Yeah.
Follow the socials. Okay.
Should people be following us and liking and subscribing, Jim?
Well, they should. I'm so glad you look at. I'm so glad you brought that up, because as we come to a close, if you could please like Self-Publishing Insiders, share these episodes with your friends, comment, and indeed subscribe if you're getting something out of this. We so appreciate that, because that helps us sort of help spread the word and recruit experts from around the industry to come in and provide their advice, expertise, and experiences to help us all learn more and to become more successful. And then if you bookmark DDDlive.com, you can see what our topics will be for subsequent weeks and who our guests will be. And if you are new to self-publishing, did you know that you can sign up for a free account at Draft2Digital simply by going to draft2digital.com. I want to thank my colleagues, Lexi and Mark, for joining me today to talk about the tools. I really appreciate your time, you guys. I know that you're slammed. I know that you've got a million other things going on. Mark, thanks for your antics back there in the background. Always appreciate that too. To our viewers, you guys, thanks for tuning in and week out. And for those of you who are new, I know we have a lot of new subscribers, new viewers who are coming over from the Indie Advantage newsletter. So thanks for reading that. Thanks for joining us. I hope this is helpful for you guys. If you have any topics that you want covered on this show or in the newsletter, drop us a line. You can drop us a line through the support link at support@draft2digital.com. as we come to a close, I just want to quickly say we are... Oh, I know what I wanted to tell you guys about. Next week's guest, nice hat, Mark. Next week's guest is Becca Syme. Becca was on the show just about a year ago, or maybe it was a year and a half ago. It's been too long. Becca was one of our most popular guests. She just exudes positivity. She's an author coach. You'll see what I mean. If you tune in next week, you will just love her. It's guaranteed. So everybody, thanks again for your time this week. We so appreciate you. I'm going to leave you with a quick 30-second spot about our print-on-demand tool, DDD Print. Until next week, thanks again, everybody.
Ebooks are great, but there's just something about having your words in print. Something you can hold in your hands, put on a shelf, sign for a reader. That's why we created DDD Print, a print-on-demand service that was built for you. We have free, beautiful templates to give your book a pro look, and we can even convert your ebook cover into a full wraparound cover for print. So many options for you and your books. And you can get started right now at Draft2Digital.com.